Hi, my name is Farron Lawrence, and I did my business report on the country of New Zealand. So, when you think of New Zealand, you think of a couple things. First, you think of Lord of the Rings, and then you think of its beautiful scenery. But what I found out through this business report is that New Zealand is more than those things. It has a lot to offer in the way of the business culture. And so I'm going to talk about a couple things in this business or in this presentation about New Zealand and how it conducts business and just a few extra interesting things. So what we're going to start off here is with the business protocol. So when you go to a foreign country, it's very important to know the business protocol because you have to know how to conduct yourself. You have to know what they expect of you. So something that you should know when you go to conduct business in New Zealand is that they like to give the impression of control. They are very independent, very humble, and very selfless individuals. So that means that it is not a bargain culture. They do not respond well to overconfidence, aggressiveness, or pushiness. And you do not want to give this impression because they will see it as disrespectful. And so, because of this, if you are giving a gift when you go, it is admired and it is they are thankful for it, but you do not want to ask for something in return when you give this gift because it would be suspected for bribery from New Zealand's standpoint. Now, giving a gift in itself is not wrong, and there are certain limitations on things you should give. You should give appropriate gifts, just like here in America, but just you want to be careful in the way that you do that. You want to emphasize win-win situations, and you want to appeal to their common sense. And these are some of the best ways and an overarching business protocol of how New Zealanders will conduct themselves in a business situation. The next thing we're going to talk about is nonverbal language. So nonverbal communication is extremely important, and it's something that you don't normally think about. But New Zealand does have a few things that are a little bit different than the way we do things here in America. So the first thing is that handshakes are a bit formal. New Zealand is a very relaxed country, but while they are relaxed, they still like to be taken seriously, and that's why business is still very important there. But New Zealanders do have a lot of influence from European cultures. So a lot of the times they will go in for a kiss cheek to cheek, and they will not extend their hands for a handshake. Now, if they do know that Americans are coming, sometimes they will offer their hand because they know that that is what we expect. But if they do reach in for a kiss to cheek, just be expected for that. It's not odd, it's not weird, it's just how they do things there. Another thing that you should not do is form a V in the back of your hand. That is very offensive and very disrespectful. That is something that you want to be aware of. You want to be aware of your hands and how they are moving, how they correlate with your body while you are at these business meetings. When yawning, you want to always cover your mouth. It's very rude if you are yawning and you do not cover it. So these are just a few of the ways that nonverbal communication is very important, and you want to be aware of while you are there. The next thing is business dining. So a lot of times you will be invited to eat because that's just a part of life. That's what you do. So you want to be on time. Tardiness reflects very badly on you. So you want to make sure that you are there and you are ready and you are present. If they offer you back to their house, which is not uncommon, you want to offer to help clean up. If you are dining out, you do not want to tip. Tipping is very rare and will often be refused. Host sets the pace for a meal and you can go from that way. So one of the things I wanted to talk about that is just interesting is Maori etiquette. These are the people who lived in New Zealand before it was westernized. So these people have very strong influence with ancestors, with their nature, with their past, which means they have a lot of sacred practices that you have to be aware of because they do make up 15% of New Zealand's culture. So if you go there, it is very common to run into these people, and you want to be able to respect their culture the way that you should. So one of the really good things to know is that if you are invited to a traditional meeting ground, you have to be invited in, or you have to ask permission before you can go in. If you are invited in, you want to take off your shoes. You do not want to eat in there. Those are both very disrespectful things. Something that probably will happen and that you should just be aware of is a welcoming ceremony. This will often have people lining on either side of you and a few other traditional practices in there. Just you don't want it to take you off guard, and it's just something normal part of their culture. They might ask you to sing a song from your home country. It is considered rude if you don't. And so this culture holds a lot of things sacred, and you just want to be sure that you know about these practices so that you can respect them. So in conclusion, just to hit a couple highlights that we've gone over, appeal to New Zealand's common sense because they get the impression that they are in control and they're independent. Do not put your hand in the back of a V because that's very disrespectful. Just be aware of that. Tipping is rare, and just warm up those vocal cords because you might be asked to sing. And that is the conclusion of my business report presentation. Thank you.